Hi guys, and welcome back to Dragon Age Origins. We are here with our female human noble, Eurydice Cousland, and last time we just finished up the Orzammar questline. So I thought for now we would maybe talk to some of our companions a little. We need to get Shale's personal quest triggered, and I also noticed that our relationship with Alistair has gone up to a door. So we can talk to him and maybe use some of these other little romance mods and things I have going. So, let's go ahead and start with Shale.
Shale of House Kadash. Is that who I once was? I find this difficult to believe.
I don't find it difficult to believe at all.
Then I envy its imagination. If I was this Shale of House Kadash, as Caridin said, there must be some evidence of my existence remaining. I must find it.
Maybe there's records in Orzammar?
There is another way. What Caridin said, it has allowed me to remember one thing. I believe I know where Kadash Taig is.
We can go there if you want.
Its offer is appreciated. I will mark the location on its map. If we can journey there soon, I am most curious as to what we will find.
I will probably put off her personal quest a little bit, because the longer you wait, the better the crystals for her you will find when you get there. Like, if we went now, we might only get clear, but if we wait, we might be able to get brilliant, so gonna wait a little while.
I have a question for it, if it will indulge me.
Sure.
It chose to side with Caridin and destroy the Anvil of the Void. I agree with its decision, and yet the Paragon Branca was the reason it ventured into the Deep Roads. Why did it choose to defy her? It could not have known for certain that Caridin would be able to assist it with the dwarves.
I always go with this one because it is the one that gets her the most approval points, and it's just sweet. You believed in Caridin. I wasn't going to let you down.
I am pleased, then. I had no idea that was why it did that. At any rate, I wanted to thank it. It gave Caridin the end he wanted, and I'm pleased to have been a part of it. I will have to think on Caridin's words to me. It was a great deal to absorb, but for now, let us go on.
Okay.
It speaks.
This is kind of fun to say every so often, because what she says, it'll change depending on like her approval with you and sometimes what quest you've done and things.
Yes. It destroyed the Anvil of the Void. I would not have thought... It could just as easily have defied Caridin, I think. I feel I owe it. Enough that I'm willing to remain with it and assist in its crusade against the Darkspawn. Unless it wishes me to leave.
No, stay. You are quite helpful.
No doubt. Without me, it would have to carry its inventory on its own. Perhaps we should continue. Its chances of success are small enough without further dawdling. It speaks. It doesn't have better things to do.
I am told you killed your former master.
Did I not already tell it that I do not remember doing such? I remember having a master. My memories of what happened to him are vague.
Vague, but not non-existent.
Clever. And true. Oh, very well. Let me see what I can recall. My former master enjoyed experimenting upon me. I remember that much. There was tinkering with spells, and then the crystals. He was very eager to alter my function, I think.
Alter you? Why, you're fine as you are.
Flattery. And obvious flattery, too. I feel warm and fuzzy inside. He possessed my control rod, and back then, it would have prevented me from doing anything he did not command me to, no matter how I might have wished to. So what happened? I am unsure. He was experimenting, and then... nothing.
What do you remember next?
And then he was gone. I was standing where I was, in the village, and I could no longer move. The villagers came, poked and prodded me in fear, and then realized they could neither move me nor destroy me, so they simply left me. And in time I forgot I hadn't stood there all along.
It must have been terrible. I'm sorry.
In fact, at first I found it more of a relief. For so many years I'd had to leap to that little toadstool's every command. Get this, pick up that, put it down, pick it up again. The gall! At first I'd hoped he'd simply decided to leave me there paralyzed. An acceptable trade-off. After years passed, I simply stopped caring.
Maybe it had something to do with your crystals.
Possibly. Except that he was not experimenting with the crystals at the time, I think. But my memory is not good. It may be correct. Whatever the mage did seemed to render the control rod useless, for which I should be thankful, yes? And provided it doesn't decide to copy his experiments, not that I would allow it, it is nothing to fear from me. Much.
Sounds good.
The things that it fights, and it fights things often, that is a different story. Let us get back to the walking and the fighting. My stone is beginning to itch again.
I think I'm going to ask her about being female and then leave the rest for another time. As I've said before, I don't like to completely exhaust everyone's dialogue like too fast, because then it becomes a very quiet playthrough, and that's kind of boring. So I like to spread it out.
It speaks. It doesn't have better things to do.
So you're female. I had no idea.
I did not think it needed to be said. It has never told me what gender it is, has it?
I am female.
Good for it. I am sure that to other creatures as soft and weak as itself, that would be perfectly obvious. The truth is that whatever gender I was is irrelevant now. I am a golem. I have no gender. It will not become an issue.
Female myself. I think it's great.
Ah, yes. Female bonding and all that. Rah. Now, let us crush something soft and watch it fountain blood. That is a girlish thing to want to do, yes?
Yes, indeed.
I await your command.
I'd like to ask you something.
So, full of questions, are you?
Is Flemeth really what she seems to be?
Well, that depends, does it not? What does she seem to be?
Powerful Maleficar.
You mean, is she truly the Flemeth of legend and story? Tell me, how much do you know of the tale? The one that the chastened still tell of my mother, to frighten them into obedience.
I'm more interested in the truth.
I can relay what Flemeth once told me herself, and you can decide whether or not 'tis the truth, if you desire.
Sounds interesting.
As the tale is sung by the bards, there was a time when Flemeth was young and beautiful, a fair lass in a land of barbarian men, the desire of any who saw her.
Just how long ago is this?
Many centuries, before this land was even named Ferelden. The tales say that Flemeth fell in love with Osen the bard, and fled the castle of her husband, the dread Lord Conabar, and that he swore vengeance for her infidelity. In truth, my mother claims that 'twas Osen who was her husband, and Conabar the jealous lord who looked on from afar. Lord Conabar approached young Osen and offered him wealth and power in exchange for his lovely wife, and Osen agreed.
Oh, he sold his wife to another man?
The life of a bard is a poor one, and love fades in the wake of hunger. 'Twas Flemeth who suggested the arrangement.
Oh.
All would have been well had Lord Conabar kept his end of the bargain. But he was a foul man who bargained with coin he did not possess. Osen was led off to a field and slain, left for dead. Flemeth spoke to the spirits and learned of the deed, and swore revenge.
She spoke to spirits or demons?
Spirits first, and 'twas they who slew Conabar. Flemeth did not turn to the demon until much later. Lord Conabar's allies chased Flemeth, you see. Chased her to the wilds, and there she hid. There she found the demon, and he made her strong. The legends all speak of the great hero Cormac, he who defeated Flemeth and her great army when she invaded the lowlands centuries later. all lies.
That she never invaded or he never defeated her?
The truth of the matter is that there was never an invasion. As Flemeth tells it, the Chastened never raised an army under her banner, and she never fought with any warrior named Cormac. Cormac led a brutal civil war against his own people, and later claimed it was to vanquish evil that had taken root amongst the lords. Thus, he was hailed a hero. Flemeth was only attached to the legend much later. Perhaps 'twas due to the great war with the Chastened that eventually came, but Mother claims not to know how it began.
Do you believe her version?
I do not believe everything that Flemeth claims. Oft it seems her bitterness has coloured her memories. But on the whole, yes, I believe this tale, if not all.
How has she survived for so long?
The demon within her has transformed her into something else. An abomination, perhaps some would say. I know not. I only know my mother is clever, and she is part of the wilds as it is part of her. But she is no immortal. She bleeds. A blade in her heart would kill her like any other, were it lucky enough to find her.
The legend tells of her having many daughters?
You ask if I have sisters. I have asked of this myself. The stories tell of many witches of the wilds after all, not just the one. And these tales existed long before I did. Flemeth refuses to speak of other daughters, if they existed. So, should I believe I am her first? I doubt that too.
Why would she refuse to speak of them?
The Chastened tell of a falling out between Flemeth and her daughters. They say that one day she hunted them all through the wilds and ate their hearts. It may be true. I have never seen another witch or heard of one. Perhaps one day Flemeth will eat my heart as well.
Aren't abominations usually insane horrors?
How often is this usually? Always? If not always, then when is it not true? There are more things in this world and the next than you or I could ever hope to understand. What Flemeth became is a mystery. I suspect, even to her.
Interesting story, thank you.
Flemeth tells it with far more embellishment than I, but you are welcome. Dare I ask of your own mother? Few are abominations of legend, 'tis true, but I find myself curious nevertheless.
She died recently, in fact.
Ah, then you have my sympathies for what it is worth. Which is very little, I am certain. It matters not. Let us move on.
Okay. Let's see. Let's talk to the puppy a little bit. He has some cutscenes with companions.
Oh, look at what your fool dog placed in my pack. A putrid, half-eaten hare is not something a woman wants to find in her unmentionables.
It's the thought that counts. He means well.
The dirty mongrel can have this back. There. And tell him not to do it again.
You heard the lady.
I don't want it, you worthless fur bag.
You're a mean lady.
Oh, he's just trying to be manipulative, I can tell. I do it too.
Your dog is filthy. I can smell him 50 yards off.
He will fell our enemies with his stench.
That may be so, but all the same, I would like your permission to bathe him.
Can't you just wave your staff and make him clean?
No, that's not what magic is used for. Just make him sleep over on the other side of the camp. With Alistair. With any luck, that will keep all the stench confined to one small area.
Oh my god. That is rough. Poor Alistair. You just watch them.
You are a true warrior and worthy of respect.
Very cute. Alright. Let's talk to Zevron a bit.
What say you?
Answer some questions?
By all means.
Tell me about Antiva.
Oh, you wish to know about Antiva, do you? The only way to truly appreciate it would be to go there. It is a warm place, not cold and harsh like this Ferelden. In Antiva it rains often, but the flowers are always in bloom. Or so the saying goes.
Don't you want to go back?
It's not really a matter of wanting to go back. I cannot go. At least not yet. I hail from the glorious Antiva city, home to the royal palace. It is a glittering gem amidst the sand, my Antiva city. Do you come from someplace comparable?
I usually go with whatever is specific to the origin, as long as there is something. So I was born in Highever in the north.
Oh, I have never seen that place. I am sure it has its charms and its dogs.
There's one right over there.
You know what is most odd? We speak of my homeland, and for all its wine and its dark-haired beauties and the lilo flutes of the minstrels, I miss the leather the most.
Is that some kind of euphemism?
It may as well be. But not this once, no. I mean the smell. For years, I lived in a tiny apartment near Antiva City's leather-making district, in a building where the crows stored their youngest recruits, packed in like crates. I grew accustomed to the stench, even though the humans complained of it constantly. To this day, the smell of fresh leather is what reminds me most of home more than anything else.
You sound like you've been away from home forever.
Oh, not so long, I know. It is my first time away from Antiva, however, and the thought of never returning makes me think of it constantly. Before I left, I was tempted to spend what little coin I possessed on leather boots I spotted in a store window. Finest Antivan leather. Perfect craftsmanship. But I was a fool to leave them. I thought, Zevran, you can buy them when you return as a reward for a job well done. More the fool I, no?
And this is a reference to one of his plot gifts that you can get for him. I believe the Antivan leather boots are in Haven when you're looking for the Urn of the Sacred Ashes, so we'll get those eventually. Your home is still there, Zev.
True, and it's a comforting thought. One simply never knows what is to come next. How could I have suspected I would end up defeated by a beautiful Grey Warden, a woman who then spares my life? I could not.
Ooh. Okay, I'm going for Alistair. Now you're flattering me.
I say you are beautiful because it is true. Should I not?
Okay, so you can tell him no, and not to say it, and you'll probably end up with some disapproval. But you can tell him it's okay to say it, and it won't trigger the romance. So that's what I'm gonna do. No, by all means.
And glad I am to hear it. Now, if it is all the same to you, I would prefer not to speak more of Antiva. It makes me wistful and hungry for a proper meal.
Okay.
What say you?
See, we're still in his friendship dialogue, and there's still the romance trigger about staring at everyone, so we're good. Care to answer some more questions?
By all means.
Tell me about your adventures.
My adventures? I'm hardly an old man just returned from across the ocean, am I? Should I shake my fist at nearby children while I talk about the good old days?
Well, that would be funny. You certainly talk like you've had adventures.
Falling down a flight of stairs is an adventure. Falling into someone's bed, also an adventure. I am assuming what you're looking for are professional anecdotes. Let's see, my second mission ever for the Crows was a bit intriguing. I was sent to kill a mage who had been meddling in politics.
And the crows were willing to anger the circle?
In Antiva, nobody is too important to escape the reach of the Crows. They've killed kings and queens. That is simply how it is. As it turned out, the mage in question was quite a delightful young woman. Long, divine legs, as I recall. I caught her in a carriage on her way to escape to the provinces. After I killed her guard, she got down on her hands and knees and begged for her life. Rather aptly, I might add. So I joined her in the carriage for the night and left the next morning.
And she didn't try to kill you?
Well, yes, twice, actually. Then she decided to try and use me instead. The woman had actually convinced me to speak to the Crows on her behalf. What can I say? I was young and foolish at the time. Then, as I was kissing her goodbye to return to Antiva City, she slipped on the threshold and fell backwards out of the carriage. Broke her neck.
Wow.
Shame, really, but at least it happened quickly.
Were you upset?
At first, yes. Well, not upset. Surprised is really a better word. Then I found out that she had told the driver to take her to Janellen instead. She had planned to lose me in the provinces. I would have looked very foolish to the crows. As it was, my master was very impressed that I had done such a fine job of making it look like an accident. The Circle of Magi was unaware of foul play, and everyone was happier all around.
These sorts of things happen to you often?
Like being spared by a benevolent Mark who then helps me escape from the crows? Yes, it does seem to happen now and again, doesn't it?
Guess so.
It was after that when I learned that one needn't let a pretty face go to your head. Professionalism was key. That's my moral of the day, you see.
Okay. Yeah, don't say this line. This is a romance trigger line, mixing business with pleasure. Okay, a wise lesson to learn.
And one that not everyone learns, I'm sad to say. But that's enough tale spinning from me for the moment. Talking about the mage has made me a bit nostalgic, I'm afraid. Ah, the good old days.
Oh, good. We got a little bit of a bump here. Let's see.
What say you?
Okay, good. We're still in friendship land with him. Okay. Let's see. Let's talk to Liliana a little bit next.
Something I can help with?
I'd like to talk to you about something.
Yes? What's on your mind?
Do you miss anything about Orlais?
I miss Val Royeaux. Unlike other cities where the people are the lifeblood and the character, Val Royeaux was her own person, and her people little more than decorations. There was always music in Val Royeaux, streaming from the many windows, quiet refrains and triumphant choruses, and always, floating above that all, the chant, coming from the Grand Cathedral. It was magnificent.
Sounds wonderful.
Oh, it would take me a day or two to talk about the many splendors of Orlais, her golden fields, her lush meadows. Of course, there are good things and bad things about Orlais, like anywhere else. Sometimes I miss it dearly, and sometimes I'm glad I'm rid of it. And you will laugh at this, but I miss the fine things I had in Orlais.
Sort of things.
Dresses, fine dresses and furs, and shoes, of course. One can't mingle with nobility with bad shoes, you see. Orlais is very fashionable, almost ridiculously so. But the shoes, living with those ridiculous trends was worth it for the shoes.
I love shoes.
When I left Orlais, the fashion was shoes with delicate tapered heels and embellishments in the front. A ribbon, perhaps, or embroidery. In soft colors, of course. It was spring.
That sounds very nice.
I had my eye on a pair my shoemaker was working on. It was covered in pale blue silk, with amber beads on the toe. The shoes made in Orlais were exquisite. Not at all like these clunky fur-lined leather boots you have in Ferelden. Ugh, just look at them.
They're ugly and shapeless.
They're sturdy shoes, but sometimes a girl just wants to have pretty feet. Oh, I could talk about shoes all day, but we have things to do, don't we? Something I can help with? Yes? What's on your mind?
You were a traveling minstrel. Do you have tales to share?
Of course I do. I love stories far too much to keep them to myself. Everyone should be able to benefit from them, I think.
She's got quite a few. Some will give you approval points, some won't. So let's just get a couple in. Tell me about Darkspawn.
Chantry law says it is man's pride that created the Darkspawn. In ages past, the mages of the Tevinder Imperium ruled much of the world we know. In their pride, they thought their magics invincible and imagined that they were greater than the Maker himself. So thinking, they invaded his golden city, planning to take it for themselves and depose their own creator. But they were impure and full of sin. And it is with the sin that they tainted the golden city, corrupting it forever. The Maker cursed them and cast them from his sight. Wherever they went, they spread the taint of their sin. Any land that was touched by the taint became blighted and would suffer no life. Instead, the Darkspawn arose to torment us and remind us of our hubris.
Any stories from Orlais?
Of course, Orlesians enjoy telling stories. I shall tell you my favorite tale of Aveline, the Knight of Olay.
That sounds interesting.
A long time ago, a girl child was born to a farmer. He had hoped for a son, not a daughter, and so he told his wife to abandon the child in the woods. Before the cold could claim her, the baby was found by a tribe of Dalish elves who took pity on the poor mewling thing and raised her as their own. Aveline, for that is what they called her, grew strong and quick and clever under the guidance of the elves. She learned to wield the sword as well as any man, could kill a deer with an arrow at 100 paces, and was as graceful on the back of a horse as she was on foot.
I saw that coming.
Many legends have familiar forms and themes. We enjoy them so because we know them. Aveline's Dalish guardians saw that she could easily best any Orlesian chevalier in battle, and wanted to show the cruel humans the child they had left to die. They bestowed upon her a fine horse and armor, and sent her to prove herself to her people in the grand tourney. Now in those days, no woman was allowed to take up arms, let alone compete in the grand tourney, but Aveline kept her helmet on and was not discovered.
Did she win?
Aveline won many events and gained the approval of the adoring crowd. Eventually, she came face to face with the knight Kaleva in the grand melee. Aveline had already bested him in the joust, and Kaleva was determined not to lose a second time. Out of desperation to regain his honor, Kaleva tripped Aveline and tossed her to the ground, ripping off her helmet as he did so. Silence fell upon the arena as Aveline was revealed. Kaleva declared the previous competitions invalid. A woman had taken part, and this was not allowed. But the crowd cheered for Aveline. Kaleva was furious, for he had lost to a woman and was now being shamed. Blinded by his rage, he forced Aveline to her knees. "Know your place, woman," cried he, and slit her throat.
I was hoping for a happy ending.
The son of the king, Prince Freyan, was present. He recognized Aveline's skill and bravery and began to see the injustice done to the women in his land. When he was made king, he rewrote the laws of Olay so that women could also become chevalier.
Cool.
He honored Aveline and knighted her after her death. And to this day, any female who is knighted reveres Aveline the Brave, for she is the patron of all women chevalier.
Very cool. I'll save the rest for later. Say we got like 1 approval. She's kind of stingy with approval. Let's talk to Wayne.
Have you encountered many abominations, apart from the ones in the Circle Tower?
No, I don't think so.
The first time I saw an abomination, my blood turned to ice. It was months before the nightmares stopped. It was the knowledge that I could easily become one of them that frightened me the most.
No, you're a great mage. You would never become an abomination.
Every mage is vulnerable, no matter how accomplished or powerful. That is the first thing we learn, and overconfidence can lead to recklessness. One slip. All it takes is one slip, and everything you are is simply gone, replaced by madness. And there is no turning back, or at least that's what they say.
You have doubts?
Of late, I have begun to wonder if there is any way an abomination can be cured, or if a mage could be so possessed and still retain their sanity, their humanity.
If one retains one's humanity, one is not an abomination.
Yes, it is madness and cruelty that define abominations. If those are lacking, if the mage remembers the person they truly are, then they are not an abomination. I never saw that. Thank you for showing me another way of looking at it.
And that should trigger the next time we take her out for to go somewhere. It should trigger one of her random encounters where she passes out, and then you come back to camp and she tells you about being possessed by the spirit in the tower.
So, tell me, how did you become a Grey Warden?
I drank some blood and all that. And Arl Howe massacred my family. Duncan helped me escape.
Arl Rendon Howe?
Yep.
The Earl of Amaranthine? Why would he do such a thing to you?
Because he's giant bastard. Because I am the daughter of Bryce Cousland, Terran of Highever.
You are the last of the Couslands? I had no idea. My lady?
Hal will pay for what he's done.
Do not be blinded by your desire for revenge. Rendon Howe will get what he deserves in time. Such deeds cannot go unpunished. Take heart, dear friend. You survived, even when you were not expected to. We do not know yet what lies in store for you, or the name you carry. It is not so bad, is it, being a Grey Warden?
Let's see. I'd give it up if it meant I could see my family again.
Sometimes it gives me comfort to think that everything will end up the way it's supposed to. That it will be all right. You were chosen. You survived the joining when others did not. Perhaps it was meant to be. I must ask, what does being a Grey Warden mean to you?
Let's see. That means I've been chosen to do something important.
There's that, of course. But there's more to being a Grey Warden than killing Darkspawn and saving the world from the Blight. Ultimately, being a Grey Warden is about serving others. About serving all people, whether elves or dwarves or men.
You mean to say I serve as a protector?
As a Grey Warden, you are a guardian of men. And you guard them because their continued existence is more important than you are. Thus it is you who serves, not they.
I will keep that in mind.
A good king, a true king who cares for his land, uses his power to rule firmly but fairly. He serves his people first and foremost. The king who does not do this, who believes that he is entitled to his power, who abuses it and uses it for his own means, is a tyrant.
So in a way, having power confines you.
If you live apart from others, and your actions affect only you, then you may do as you wish. But if you have power, influence, and strength, your every action will be as a drop of water in a clear, still pond. The drop causes ripples, and ripples spread. Think of how far they will go, how wide they will become, how will they affect the pond. But I've lectured enough for today. I should stop before I wear out my welcome. You're quite taken with each other, aren't you?
You know about Alistair and me?
It's hard not to notice the doe-eyed looks he gives you, especially when he thinks no one's watching. It's almost too sweet for my tastes, and I'm an old lady who should be making lace hearts and fuzzy blankets with animal motifs.
You're not like the average old lady.
No, I won't be making socks with pom-poms for you anytime soon. But that's hardly my point. I've noticed your blossoming relationship, and I wanted to ask you where you thought it was going. Alistair is a fine lad, skilled in battle, but quite inexperienced when it comes to affairs of the heart. I would hate to see him get hurt.
We're just taking it one day at a time.
You are both Grey Wardens, and he is the son of a king. You have responsibilities which supersede your personal desires.
Alistair doesn't want to be king.
That may be true, but he is still a Grey Warden. Love is ultimately selfish. It demands that one be devoted to a single person, who may fully occupy one's mind and heart to the exclusion of all else. A Grey Warden cannot afford to be selfish. You may be forced to make a choice between saving your love and saving everyone else. And then what would you do?
Ooh. I don't want to have to make that choice.
Nothing is certain. Not in these times. You cannot take anything for granted. I want you to be aware of this.
We can handle whatever comes our way.
If you insist, I have given my advice. Do with it what you will.
Sheesh. Okay, so let's see. We've got Alistair. We're saving him for last because all the lovely romance things. So Sir Gilmore and Ogren. Oh yeah, we've also got the emissaries back here, and I've been saving all those gems, and I even have a couple of runes, so I am definitely going to get rid of them.
The Circle of Magi stands ready to assist, Grey Warden, as do the Templars of the Chantry.
Do you need anything?
There are always areas to improve on, Grey Warden. The most useful for my talents are runes.
Okay, what about you?
Orzammar has sent her best, Warden. It has been a long time since the Dwarven army has marched on the surface.
Do you need anything?
Outfitting any army on short notice, there's always room for more gear. Gems would serve the most utility. The Middlestone, sapphires, and the like. We're dealing with many smaller foundries, and larger values might overwhelm.
Okay. So I've got a couple of novice runes I'm not really using, so I'm going to give them to the circle.
Such a force has not been seen since the collapse of the Tevinter Imperium.
And this is also a way to, it's kind of to get XP. So the more you give, the more XP you get. One of the big ones for it is like when you beat Red Cliff and you get the knights, you can give them certain amounts of money, and depending how much money you give them, depends on how much XP you get. Turn in gems. See sapphires, malachites, amethysts, and topazes.
You are good to your troops, Warden.
Huh.
Now, there's kind of a mixed opinion on whether you should do them separately or like just give them all at once. Some people say it can bug out and you might not get all the XP. Some people say it works fine. I generally just give them it one at a time and get out just to be safe. So I don't want to take a chance at losing any XP.
Everything brings us closer to victory. We are better with every step you take.
There you go. That is the last of my stuff.
We are better with every step you take.
Okay, let's talk to Ogren. We haven't talked to him yet.
Come to talk to old Ogren, have you? Don't know why.
What's the matter?
Nothing. I'm fine. Just, I got a hornet in my eye is all. Did you want to talk about something?
Can you teach me to fight like you?
You want to be a berserker? Thought I'd never see the day. You're a monster on the field already, Warden. But your style just doesn't give itself to mad rage. Too much thinking, too much, finesse. But if you know someone fit for this type of work, I'll teach him. It'll be nice to have another berserker to grunt at for a change.
So tell me more about berserkers.
What the sod is there to know? You get mad, you fly into battle, and things die. It's pretty simple. The hard part is getting in touch with your rage. We all learn to hold that back. It's why we don't kill every duster who looks at us sideways. You need to shut that off. For some people, being in battle is enough. But others have to think about something. Violence, monsters, nobles, your wife, whatever.
Your wife?
Aye, especially my wife.
Just thinking about it works?
Well, for most berserkers it does. Several years ago, I worked with a berserker on one expedition who just couldn't work himself up. We had to kick him in the stones before he could get going.
Why would you want to do that?
Why not? When you fight, you get mad. By the stone, it's a sodding tactic to enrage your enemy so he makes a mistake, right? Berserkers grab that anger and drink it like it's yesterday's ale. Then we turn it against our foes and watch the limbs fly.
Wow.
I'm listening. Aye, all right then. What you need?
Tell me more about
What
you.
about?
And he has a bunch of little cutscenes. Sometimes you have to click on him multiple times to get him to come up. And it'd be nice if we could get him to trigger his personal quest, because we need to go to Lake Calenhad anyway, and that's where it is. So I might try for that. Are you fine with what happened with Branka?
Oh, sure. I'm fine with it. I mean, she was a real firebrand between the sheets, but a bit soft in the skull, you know what I mean? Explains why she left anyway.
You're handling it well.
Handling what? Branka? Pfft. That treasure's been long buried. Ancestors take me. You people whine like tea kettles around here. Hey, Warden, you gotta hear this one. This human walks into a tavern, and there's an elf there, and she says... she says...
And then what?
She says, I don't...
Oh.
Ass chaps.
And then sometimes you have to click on it multiple times to get him to stop saying that. Yes.
What you need?
Alright, geez.
What about?
How do you like the surface?
It's sodding great. At first I was a little queasy with all that air, but there's just so much of it. No one has any idea who you are or what you're doing. And the ale. Oh, who'd have thought? Ale made with grain. Aye, the surface is great. It's like a big, bright world of filth without a ceiling. My kind of place. Hey, let's go find something to kill, huh? All this talk makes my hands twitchy. What you need? Aye, alright then. What you need?
Doesn't look like he's gonna give us any more cutscenes at the moment.
Alright then.
Let's see. I do have a gift for him. I have several gifts for him. The thing about Ogren's gifts is when you give them to him, if you plan on doing the Awakening expansion, however many gifts you've given here, it can influence how many approval points you get from him in that. So it's like if you give him to where he's only giving you like a +5 return on all gifts, even if they're his special gifts, he will give you only a +5 and then keep going down in Awakening. However, if you give him, instead of giving him like the liquor and stuff, if you give him the thoughtful gifts you can get from Bodon, it stops that from happening. I also have a mod that's supposed to correct it from happening, but it's the first time I've used the mod, so it's like I don't really know if it's going to work or not. However, I do usually give him this one because it's from the Stone Prisoner, which doesn't none of the stuff from it transfers over, so there's really no reason for me to keep it.
By my ancestors, this is a wonderful gift!
Glad you like it. I think I'm going to have to give him a thoughtful gift too. Got one in here. I just have to find it in this sea of gifts. There it is.
You have a lot of nerve coming here.
Is there a problem?
Problem? Oh, I got a problem with your face. You keep it up and I'll fight you. I don't even care that you're some kind of wool-gnawing poetess.
You think I'm Hespeth.
Your disguise can't fool me, woman. That's right. You keep looking at me like that, I'll just go get my pants from that sodding dog.
And there he goes. Ogren, get up.
You there.
Oh, this one's the best.
I've been watching you. Where can I get some sauce for that rump roast?
Oh my god. This one gets you some good approval, and it actually works for both male and female wardens, so I always go with this. Right here, you mad dwarven stallion.
Go and make yourself ready, woman. I'll be right there to see to it.
And there he goes. Have a gift, Ogren. Maybe it'll make you feel better and you can give me your personal quest.
That looks fine indeed.
Oh, that should have done it. Ogren, get up. Goodness sakes. I put him in that effort armor set that we got in Orzammar and the Deep Roads.
There you are. Wanted to talk to you.
What about?
You and I, we've... You know how sometimes you spend time with people and things?
I love you too, Ogren.
Well, I'll be shaved skin and hung up to dry. It's too soon, though, lady. Too soon. I just wanted to ask a favor.
What is it?
I was thinking, I do know some people out here on the surface. A person, actually. A girl I knew in Orzammar. Before I left, obviously.
Ah. A girl you knew or a girl you knew?
What? Oh, you mean where we were rutting? Oh, aye. After Bronca left for the Deep Roads. Name's Felsi. She was a fiery one. I'm sure she's forgiven me by now. Thought maybe I'd track her down. See how she's been living.
You know how to find her?
I tried to look her up the last time we were at Lake Calenhad. She wasn't at work at the inn. At home with her sick mother, they said. I figured it was just the ancestors telling me something. But I keep thinking about her.
We can go back if you want.
Well, and a good friend you are, Warden. I'll think about you if we ever...
Please don't.
No, actually, that would be gross.
Yes, it would.
What was it you wanted to say?
That's all.
Aye, all right then.
Terrifying. Okay, let's talk to Sir Gilmore.
I'm very happy you decided to destroy the anvil. That thing could do no good. I don't want to imagine how many souls were tortured by one man's desire.
Oh, and a hard day's work.
Ha! My lady, I was wondering. I know you don't have a lot of time for idle chat, but how are you bearing with your pastime? I remember you were so good at it.
Yes. So he gives you have like 6 options you can do, and then later on he'll actually give you a present related to whichever option you pick. Let's see. Cooking, painting, singing, writing, weapons, flute. Wow. Let's go with I try to write at least a page in my journal every night.
Do you now? Stories or private things? If you write stories, I'd very much like to read them. It's nice to be able to take your mind off this blasted blight sometimes.
What about you?
Me? I like good food. But you probably realize that by now if you ever saw me eating like a hungry jackal after a long fight. I'm also an avid reader. And I wonder why you look so surprised. Does sleeping count as a pastime? If so, add it too, for good measure.
What about fighting?
I am a knight, and of course I like it. However, I can't count killing things as something I enjoy. That's never nice. Not even when they have to die so I can live.
Okay.
Yes? What can I do for you?
Okay, so
Of course.
we've already asked him most of this, what happened at the castle, what happened to the people of the castle, but I think we have a good enough relationship that he'll go into more depth here now. So what did they do to you when you were captured?
That's something that still haunts me in my dreams. When they were done killing the weak, they rounded us up. They looked at us, I think. Maybe they were trying to determine who was useful. I don't know. By that time, the Jarl had joined his soldiers, and he recognized a few of us. The captain of the guard, along with other officers, like myself. The Jarl ordered us to be taken away into the castle. The rest were killed.
What did he do with the survivors?
I do not know what happened to the rest. I never saw them again. I was dragged halfway, and I crawled while being kicked the other half. My head was still bleeding, and my feet were not functioning. They threw me in a small room all alone.
Then?
I don't know for how long I was there. I just felt the cold floor against my cheek and blacked out. I was awoken when the Jarl entered the room with 2 of his men. They wanted information. They asked me lots of things about the Lord and Lady of the castle, the Grey Wardens, things I didn't know, other things that I didn't understand. And when I gave the wrong answers, they tortured me. I cannot speak about this any further right now. These memories haunt me.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't have asked.
No, it's okay. I think I will have to face this at some point. Just not now. Maybe in the future I'll be able to talk about this further.
So we'll try again later.
Yes? What can I do for you?
Let's talk about the past.
Of course.
Let's see.
How could I forget? That's the day my life changed forever. It took me many days to arrive there, and honestly, I didn't want to go. My father had talked about the future, my duty, making him proud, and many other things that I didn't care about. I just wanted to stay at home with the people I knew.
But you changed your mind?
I did. After many days of travel with my father, imploring him to take me back, by the way, we arrived at the biggest castle I had ever seen. The Teyrn and Terna were there. I was intimidated, to say the least. They asked me to wait outside while they arranged things. I was sinking emotionally, and then I saw you.
I was curious. I wanted to see the new squire.
I didn't know the Teyrn had children, so when I lifted my head and I saw you, well, Fergus was some years older than us, but we were roughly the same age.
And going with the kind of more we were friends, so I stuck my tongue out at you.
Yes, you did. And after that you showed me a very wicked yet warm smile. Right then I knew it wasn't going to be that bad. Still, it took me a while to get used to it. I must admit, I cried myself to sleep the first few nights. But everybody in your family was always very nice to me.
We all liked you.
Yes, there was that strange familiarity, wasn't there? I slept in the barracks with the other squires and soldiers. I trained with them too, sometimes with you and your brother. But we had the same tutor, and your parents always had a kind word when they saw me about. I always had a small something for my birthdays waiting for me in the barracks. I am very grateful to the Teyrn and all his family. And yes, that includes you, first and foremost.
No. Okay. That's good for now. Okay, so let's talk to Alistair. As you can see, I kind of swapped out some armors. I put Sir Gilmore in the Warden Commander armor, and I've got Alistair in the Blood Dragon armor. I've always liked the way it looks on him.
So, all this time we've spent together, you know, the tragedy, the brushes with death, the constant battles with the whole blight looming over us. Will you miss it once it's over?
Makes me tear up just thinking about it.
Ha! There'll be no more running for our lives, no more Darkspawn, and no more camping in the middle of nowhere. I know it might sound strange, considering we haven't known each other for very long, but I've come to care for you a great deal. I think maybe it's because we've gone through so much together. I don't know. Or maybe I'm imagining it. Maybe I'm fooling myself. Am I?
Aww.
Fooling myself? Or do you think you might ever feel the same way about me?
No. The top two will kind of move things along. The bottom two will obviously end things. So I'm gonna go with I think I already do.
So I fooled you, did I? Good to know.
Our first kiss.
That wasn't too soon, was it?
Oh, he's so cute. You can go with no, not really, I liked it, or I don't know, any more testing to be sure. You get I think 2 approval for not really liked it, and 1 for I don't know, I need more testing. But I usually go with that one because it's just kind of funny. So I need more testing to be sure.
Well, I'll have to arrange that then, won't I? Maker's breath, but you're beautiful. I am a lucky man. Now, let's get back to what we were up to before, lest I forget why we're here.
Oh. Okay. So I need to put him in some not massive armor for some of these things because you'll end up with some really weird clipping otherwise. I'm just gonna take that off. Okay, so that should be good. Alright.
Your desire is my command.
Oh, that's my favorite one. Give him a hug. This is from the improved Alistair, or Alistair Improved Romance, I think is what it's called. It's an older mod, but it's great. Sweet.
Your desire is my command.
Let's see. Let's discuss something private.
Well, we're in camp. Now's as good a time as any to talk, right?
Okay, so I actually have the Alistair's Visible Kiss mod. It doesn't work for like the kiss in the previous one that he initiated, but any of the rest, it'll actually turn it so you can actually see them kissing. So let's do that.
Oh, you want to right now? Well, who am I to refuse? Your desire is my command.
And we could actually talk him into our tent at this point, but like I said in an earlier episode, I prefer to wait until after we talk to Godana and we get kicked into the love category, because then he will ask us himself, and it's just a way better scene. It's so much it's so cute. Let's go somewhere more quiet. This is also from that improved romance scenes for Alistair mod. It's kind of a cute little going off by themselves. Morgan's over there looking. Aww. Aren't we just the cutest? And now I'm like standing inside of him. That was weird. Okay, so there's a couple other ones. Let's do... Oh yes, been waiting on this one for a while. The cheese. This is for... It's like... I think it's called Alistair Romance, like, Appetite or something like that. It's cute.
Oh, wow. Savage. If you keep shoveling down our rations like that, the entire party is going to starve.
Oh.
I jest, don't kill me.
He's a dead
No,
man.
don't hit me. I bruise easily. Does this mean I'm in trouble?
Aw, you're so cute. was cute. Okay, so there's another one. It's called Alistair's Magical Kiss. So, it's actually really cute.
Yes.
There is another version of it. It's the same kiss, but it has different lighting, basically. It makes it like natural lighting, but I kind of like that with the kind of bluish purple lighting. It gives it kind of a more mysticalness to it. So we haven't done this in a while, so we do some eavesdropping. I think we did the first one, so we haven't done this one yet. So let's do this one.
Do you really know what's going on here? The Blight, the Civil War? I really wonder how much of it you understand. We're all special, big parts to play. Even you, especially you in some way. You are the Mabari. You guard one of the most important people... What? You want to play? But I'm talking. Why doesn't anyone want to hear me talk?
Nice. We already did the awkward one. Let's do one with him and Morgan, then we'll do one with him and Wynn. What's wrong with fraternizing?
I do wonder, is it permissible for two Grey Wardens to... Oh, what is the word I search for?
Caboodle?
Fraternize.
What's wrong with fraternizing?
It seems most undisciplined for an organization that claims it will do whatever is necessary to end the Darkspawn threat.
One thing has nothing to do with the other.
Oh no? And what if a Grey Warden was forced to choose between the Warden he loved and ending the Blight? What should his choice be?
That is a ridiculous question.
And I have my answer. Most kind of you.
Okay, let's do one with Wynn. I know some ones with Zevron will show up later, but not until you guys are have already slept together. What guidance did you find in those swaying hips? Oh my.
Why are you smiling like that? You look suspiciously like the cat that swallowed the pigeon.
Canary.
What?
I look like the cat that swallowed the canary.
I once had a very large cat, but not my point. My point is, why are you smirking?
You were watching her, with great interest, I might add. In fact, I believe you were enraptured.
She's our leader. I look to her for guidance.
Oh, I see. So what guidance did you find in those swaying hips?
No. I wasn't looking at, you know, her hindquarters?
Certainly.
I glanced in that direction, maybe, but I wasn't staring. Or really seeing anything, even.
Oh no.
Of course.
I hate you. You're a bad person.
Oh my, that is great. Okay, so we need to run to Lake Callahan for a couple of things. So why don't we go ahead and do that? We should be able to trigger Wynn's random encounter too. And then we'll probably just end the episode, and then next time I think we'll head to Red Cliff. Let's see. Let's do Alistair,
Yes.
Wynn,
Yes.
and let's take Zeb.
Yes.
So back to Lake Callahan. Oh. Oh.
Sire, I have more news. Yes. Well, it seems that the fighting has gone
Enough.
exactly as you...
I would like to know what you intend to accomplish, Father. Should we not be fighting the Darkspawn instead of each other?
The nobility should be brought into line and then the Darkspawn defeated. This is no true blight, Honora. Only Kaelin's vanity demanded it be so.
Beg pardon, sire. But blight or no, we may not have the manpower to face the Darkspawn soon.
Kaelin approached your legions for support, did he
Never!
not?
Marek and I drove those bastards out! Not roll out the welcome for them now!
We need help, Father. We cannot deal with this crisis alone.
Ferelden will stand on its own! I will lead it through this, Honora. You must have faith in me.
Did you kill Kaelin?
Kaelin's death was his own doing.
Never enough.
Let's see. I'm gonna go head up here. Go, Zeb, go! I'm coming.
And I'm off.
I hope you don't get blood all over you.
Trap. Another point for me!
Okay. Well, that was fun. And apparently, one is being difficult. There we go.
Yes. And I'm off. Huh.
There's an elf fruit. A couple of things up here. Once we get up there, that'll trigger Wynn's passing out.
Going.
Alright, I think that's everything. Yes. Alright. There she goes.
I fell.
Are you alright?
For a moment there, I thought it was all over.
You need some rest?
I will explain everything when we are back at camp. Now is not the time.
Okay. Actually, I need to bring in Ogren for his personal quest, so...
Braska.
Scrub him. There we go. They actually did level up, so I kind of wanted to check some of their tactics. Okay. Yeah, because she picked up a cleansing aura. Okay. Oh, and Kester has his boot back. Okay, so we did that one quest where with the
Isn't that the point?
random
We could all be
encounter, so we
figments
turned
of-
that
A little
in.
something extra for friendship.
Okay, thank you. I don't think there's anything else at this time. There'll be another Mage's Collective Bag in Denerim, and then one in Redcliffe after we deal with that, so... let's go ahead and go in here.
There she is. I'm gonna go talk to her. Look, you gotta back me up here. Got it?
Of course.
Thanks, Warden.
Go get her.
Just be ready to pry her off when she throws herself at me.
Uh-huh.
We don't want to make a scene here. Well, don't pry her off me too soon. I mean, a little scene's all right. Are you sure you're not a baker? Because you got a sodding nice set of buns.
Oh, God.
Akron, is that you?
Yeah, in the flesh, baby.
What are you doing here?
Just trying to kick back with a pint. Fighting Darkspawn's a lot of sodding work, you know?
You're fighting Darkspawn?
This man took on an army of golems almost single-handed. It was amazing.
It was a bit of pain, but it was a personal favor for the King of Orzammar, you understand?
The whole surface to choose from, and you just happened to come to my tavern?
Well,
Whisper, tell her it's fate.
What? Oh, right. It's fate, Felsi. What can I say?
Fate? The ancestors must have a sense of humor then.
Sure they do. You've had a good look at Lady Helmy, haven't you? If her face isn't a joke the ancestors are playing, I'm a Bronto's behind.
So, Lady Helmy must be a paragon of beauty then.
Tell her you've been thinking of her.
I've been thinking about you, Felsi.
What do you want, Ogren?
Nothing. Just thought I'd see how you were doing is all. Well, maybe that and grease up the Bronto, if you know what I mean.
Well, you've seen me. You'll have to go back to Orzammar for the Bronto.
We can't waste time here. The Queen is waiting for us.
Oh, the Queen needed a new fool, did she?
Oh well, it's been fun, Felsi. But I better go.
Wait, you're leaving? You just got here. I haven't called you a shaft rat yet.
Well, you can't keep the archdemon waiting. You hurt its feelings, it might just turn the whole blight around and go home. Nobody wants that.
Well, you don't need to fight it right now, do you? I mean, you could have a pint first. You could call me a silly Bronto. I could tell you that you smell like nug droppings.
I'll tell you what, I got some things I gotta do, but I'll come back for that pint when things are settled. You frigid deep stalker.
Fine, but you better not keep me waiting, you worthless copper-plated sword cast.
Wouldn't dream of it.
Okay,
I still got it.
so what are you leaving for? Go get her.
Don't you know anything about women? You gotta make 'em wait. Play hard to
No.
get. Might as well rest up while I can. You ready to go?
Yes, let's go.
Aye, all right then.
Good grief.
And I'm off.
This is definitely the easiest personal quest. Okay. Just gonna go ahead and do a banter.
Do you think the tower is ever going to get back to what it was, Wynne?
Seems appropriate.
I don't know. A great number of people died. It will be difficult to imagine rebuilding, with that cloud hanging over everything for many years to come.
Do you think you'll be there? To help rebuild, I mean, once this is all over with.
I cannot say. Even if I survive this blight, I am a very old woman, Alistair.
Why? Because of some grey hair? You are a formidable woman, Wynne. You could see that it happens.
I think you overestimate the number of years I have left. But perhaps you are right. Or perhaps the memories of what happened there will be too strong for me to face.
I have a hard time believing that.
Well, it's good to have someone that believes in me, so... Now, if I could only feel the same way myself, that would be something.
Nice.
Going.
Okay, so let's just run back to camp, talk to Wynne real quick, and then we will probably stop.
I think I owe you an explanation for what happened earlier.
Well, you had me quite worried.
You should know that something happened to me at the tower before you came along. You spoke to Petra, did you not?
Uh-huh.
She told you I saved her from a demon. I did, but I did not survive that encounter.
This death is taking a while to kick in then.
Let me explain fully. I engaged a very powerful demon to rescue Petra. It sapped me of all my energy and will and left me drained. It took everything I had to defeat it. And when I was done, I no longer had the strength to keep my heart beating. I remember my life ebbing away. Everything receded from me. Sound, light. I remember being enveloped in complete, impenetrable darkness. And then I sensed a presence enfolding me and cradling me, whispering quietly to me. The sensation is impossible to describe. I was being held back, firmly but gently, as a mother would a child, eager to slip from her grasp. I felt life and warmth flowing through my veins again. I began to be aware of small sounds and the discomfort of my hip pressing into the cold stone of the tower floor.
That's amazing.
The Fade contains spirits both benevolent and malicious. The benevolent spirits seldom make themselves known, because they want nothing from mortals, unlike the demons. It was one of these spirits that saved me. Without it, I would be dead. And it has not left me. It is with me, even now, bonded to me. You see, I am supposed to be dead. It is the spirit that is keeping me in this world. And this is not the way of things. Perhaps the spirit did not expect this, but it is weakening gradually. I am living on borrowed time.
And we'll make the best of it.
Yes, that we will.
Okay. Eventually she'll have another cutscene too where she gets her Vessel of the Spirit power. But I think this is where we'll go ahead and end the episode. Had some nice chats with people, got our romance with Alistair moving along a little more. If you enjoyed the video, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. It helps me out a lot, and it's very, very much appreciated. Thanks, guys.